Hello, my friends. Today I'm recapping the latest episode of Drag Race UK Season 7 Comedy is a Bitch. I think I speak for all of us when I say, thank God it'll be over next week. The Queens walk back into the workroom after Bonnie and Clyde's elimination, and Bones has a fire under her ass after winning the makeover. She definitely keeps that fire burning this week, but more on that later. So it's a new week in the competition, and it's officially the semi-finals. Whoever survives this episode has a chance to snatch the crown. At that moment, Rue enters the workroom and announces that for this week's Maxi Challenge, the Queens will be putting on a roast. Specifically, the Karma is a Bitch roast. The eliminated Queens of Season 7 are returning to be read to filth. As last week's winner and lip sync survivor, Katrin and Bones get to decide the roast order. Bones wants to open the show, which was a bit of a surprise, and Al says this is Katrin's challenge to win. And I was certain that because Katrin was saved instead of Bonnie last week, this was what we were building to. Well, how wrong I was. So the order is thus. Bones is first, followed by Al. Celexa is in the middle, followed by Tyrus, and closing the show is Katrin. Extra special guest judge Sophie Wallen goes through their material in the workroom. Bones shares that when she gets anxious, she shakes, but Sophie says she should lean into that, using those nerves as an anchor. And I mean, it's like I always say, if in doubt, titty shake it out. So on the main stage this evening, we have RuPaul in a gown that I don't love, but mainly because of the colour, not the cut. We have Michelle Visage, Alan Carr, and extra special guest judge Sophie Wallen. So it's time for the Karma is a Bitch roast. And my favourites were Al. I think she had a seamless roast from start to finish. Bones had a moment but regained her confidence when she used Sophie Wallen's advice of leaning into the nerves and finding an anchor. And she landed some really great jokes. And I personally thought Tyrus was really good. I liked her confidence and the fact that she didn't need to rely on her notes. Celexa was decent, but it got a bit dicey toward the end. And Katrin was the worst, which I did not see coming at all. Category is English Country Garden Realness, and I gave my top two to Celexa Diction. This is absolutely gorgeous. I love the oversized rose, the wig, the flower accoutrements, everything. So it's time for the judges' critiques, and no one is safe. First up is Bones, and Michelle said a lot of her jokes landed. She reclaimed her Liam Gallagher character from Snatch Game and anchored herself thanks to Sophie's advice. Bones looked absolutely sexy on the runway. I mean, she would look good in a burlap sack. Al is told that her roast had some funny moments, but she could have gone a lot deeper. They said she was too sweet, and I don't agree. I think Al was one of the best. Michelle says her look is a 10, and I love that hat. Next is Celexa. They said she had some funny jokes, but she kept slipping up. She's told she had great physical comedy, and obviously this runway is gorgeous. Next is Tyrus, and they say she looked beautiful, and it was great that she didn't need her cards. Unfortunately, the judges said she had too many one-liners and her set needed substance. I don't agree. If you watch this back, they laughed at most of the things she said. Last but not least, we have Katrin, and the jokes just weren't there. This was quite disappointing because I expected her to win this week. Would have been interesting to see what Bonnie would have done in her place. They said her crystal routine was too gimmicky, and I think Katrin was right when she said she should have just done the roast as herself, because she's naturally funny. Back in Untucked, Katrin gets emotional, realizing her chances of getting a badge in this competition are over. Bones says she didn't like Katrin making fun of her shakes, and Katrin apologizes, saying she didn't mean to hurt anyone. Back on the main stage, Bones ends up winning the roast, which was a real surprise given how she was almost eliminated and then came back and won 2 back-to-back challenges. Now that's a redemption. Al and Celexa are made safe, which means the 3 of them are inducted into the grand finale. This leaves Katrin and Tyrus to lip sync it out. And at this point, this could not have been more intentional if it tried. Wow, how original, an opportunity for the 2 lovers to lip sync together. You know, if we're being so real, Tyrus did not deserve to be in the bottom 2. She was absolutely fine. She had a really good set. I would have put Celexa there with Katrin. But this is an opportunity for a great TV moment. And POC queens are just scapegoats in the UK franchise. They performed to Mama Knows Best by Jessie J. Honestly, Tyrus won this lip sync. And again, it just felt like Katrin's time to go. But instead, we lose Tyrus and we get to keep Katrin. And I don't think this is the right choice at all. You know, POC queens must feel so highly discouraged about auditioning for UK, and I don't blame them. Tyrus looked so upset just missing out on the grand finale. Wishing you all the best, Tyrus. We love you. And so, my friends, are you Team Bones, Team Al, Team Celexa, or Team Katrin? Personally, I'm Team Al. I think she's been the most consistent across the entire season, not having to lip sync once for her life. I also think she's great Irish representation for the crown. However, it would not surprise me if they end up giving the win to Bones. I think Bones is the only competition Al has. I do not see any world where Celexa or Katrin wins this. And it's funny they're doing a top four because I've talked about this before, but there is sort of a pattern with UK finalists. So in UK1, they had a top three. In UK2, they had a top four. In UK3, they had a top three. In UK4, they had a top four. In UK5, they had a top three. In UK6, they had a top four. So you would think if they were sticking to the pattern that UK7 would be a top three. But it's not. They're breaking the pattern. Whatever the case, I'm just sorry this cast has been part of such an abysmal season. What did you guys think of this episode? What did you think of the judging choices? Who deserved to lip sync? Who deserved to go home? Give me all the tea. Tell me who you're rooting for in the finale. And I will see you next week when we crown a winner and put an end to this season.